Thank you for watching this Last Mile Profits video.
Why are US consumers bucking the trend on parcel lockers? Keep viewing to find out more.
Last Mile Profits is brought to you by Parcel Pending by Quadient.
Gary, you've been doing a lot of reading recently, I think, because you've picked up some really cool articles, and the latest one that you shared with me was actually one from across the pond. Do you want to share what it was all about?
Yeah, it was an academic article by a lady whose name I can't remember, but you're going to say it in a minute because you're much better at that than I am.
I'm going to say it, and hopefully, Joanna, I'm going to say this correctly, otherwise you can kill me. It's Joanna Amaya,
Yeah.
who is, and I'll tell you, she's assistant professor at Penn State University, no less.
Yeah, and her article basically said that parcel lockers were amongst the least popular options for parcel pickup in the US. Now, why would the pair of us who like to sort of big up lockers at any given opportunity and working for a locker company try to draw that attention to our, a few thousand viewers? And I think it's really because it shows you the embryonic state of the locker industry and the locker landscape in the US, because there are hardly any places outside of apartment buildings where you can pick a parcel up from a locker.
And I think this is it. You've hit the nail on the head. And this is what I always say to people. Every market is a locker market, provided it has a suitable solution, customer-centric solution that's available. It has to be proximate and convenient. And that isn't yet fully the case in the US. I still remember, Gary, not 5 years ago, when I was talking to someone in the UK who said to me, Marek, but you got to understand, the UK is not an out-of-home market. And again, it's all about, in my opinion, the service offering that's available. And I have to tell you, Gary, I was so interested in the article, I actually contacted Diana and had a chat about it. And yeah, of course, the data's empirically right, but I would still argue that this can change quite dramatically if and when somebody goes out there with a suitable offering. So, Gary, when your buddies at Parcel Pending by Quadient go out there and triple the number of lockers, maybe that would be a step in the right direction.
I think the thing is we've got getting on for half of our locker population. We've recently announced that we've got 25,000 lockers deployed worldwide. Over half of them are in North America, but most of them are not accessible to the public. So there are some in retail like Lowe's and these other places, but the vast majority are inside the lobby of smart apartment buildings. In fact, we've just acquired one of our competitors, Package Concierge. So we're welcoming them into the Parcel Pending team, and that's added 3,000 locations overnight to our already over 11,000 in North America. But even though they are inside the lobby, they serve about 3 million people, and the customer satisfaction for having your parcel delivered into that locker and for the convenient pickup is extremely high. But you're right, the research is absolutely spot on. Outside of that very controlled environment, aside from some small pilots, USPS have done 500 lockers themselves, and they're in the process of doing a second round of 500. But my issue with that is they've put them inside the post office. Okay. So they haven't actually extended the reach of the USPS at all. They've taken some work off the counter and maybe automated some processes and made it more convenient for people like sort of the non-human interaction to get it done. But they haven't added a single brand new touch point. They put them all inside post offices.
It reminds me of the story. Do you remember when Walmart, I think it was, bought these really expensive parcel towers from Cleveron?
Yes.
And then proceeded to put them inside the store instead of outside. So, instead of making them accessible 24/7 and not, as it were, adding to operational issues within the store, they actually put it in I would say in the middle of the store, but they put them in the store. So it's a bit the same, isn't it, really?
A little bit, yeah. I mean, we did a video recently talking about the speed and efficiency of loading and unloading a parcel locker. We used InPost as the example, this colossal number that a single driver could do in a day. I think the other issues with those Cleveron lockers was it took 20 seconds to load each parcel. So by the time it was accepted and put away, and then the retrieval process, because it had a big robot inside that sort of, I imagined it like, I don't know if you've seen one of the Pixar movies where the people live, it's Men in Black, where they're living inside the postal sortation machine, the aliens sorting the mail out inside. I always imagine these robot things to be like that, with some weird creature inside doing the work. Not that if you work in the postal industry, you're a weird creature. I did it long enough to know that's not true. But it was incredibly inefficient as well. So you've got to have the right experience and you've got to have proximity. Now, I think that probably the USPS lockers that they've sourced through Smart Cart are probably a good experience, but they're in the wrong place. And it's collection only. At the moment, American people clearly want parcels delivered to home.
Yeah, but again, using my favorite B-post phrase, slipper distance, if the locker is effectively home delivered because it's so close that you go out in your slippers. So my nearest locker is literally 250 meters from my home. Sorry for everyone who's heard me say this about 50 million times, but it is like a home delivery because whenever I leave my home, I cannot avoid passing by that locker. It's always on the way.
Is that because the front driveway on your house is 250 meters long? Is that what it is?
No, Gary, no. I live on an estate, but just outside the estate, I've got this locker.
Yeah.
So I cannot fail to pass it. For me, I literally, maybe not in winter when it's snowing, but in summer I can literally go out in slippers. And
well, we have the same thing in Japan. When we doubled the number of lockers in Tokyo, one of the concerns was that you would dilute the volume across all those lockers. We didn't. We trebled the volume by doubling the number of lockers. Trebled the usage rate by doubling the number because the convenience thing just came in.
And this is it. I'm really pleased you shared that, Gary. And this is my response to naysayers, whether they are from Europe or North America. I think the work that Joanna and the team did was really incredible. And I think as that work goes on, as hopefully networks like your own become more proximate, more convenient, I think that picture is going to change. But what I'm most pleased about from today's conversation, I now realize what you sort of dream about, little aliens moving parcels in parcel lockers. So now that's something, Gary, that I would have never expected.
I always like to confound the expectations, so thank you for that.
Gary, listen, as usual, really great talking to our viewers. Please, if you've got any comments or questions, please add them below, preferably in LinkedIn, because we don't always get a chance to look at YouTube. And of course, if you've enjoyed the video, please click like and subscribe. Thank you, everyone.
Last Mile Profits is brought to you by Parcel Pending by Quadient.